Here we are, headed out for a little second shift, if you will. You used to work the second shift all the time.
Yep.
You liked that.
I did.
How about for walleye fishing?
Definitely.
The night bite can be the right bite because you see all these guys going past us going in. We're hoping that the lake is kind of cleaned out. And as I look on the graph, we'll show you a little cutaway. It's just loaded up with bait. And that tells me we probably don't have to go far because that water temperature is going to be off a little bit. The shad will stack right up in the river here, right near the river mouth. So we're going to try pretty darn close to home here and hopefully show you some tips and tricks because we've been doing night fishing. I've been doing that longer than I've been doing boat fishing, to be honest, when I didn't have all the fancy stuff, you know, fishing off the shore and all that good stuff. So stay tuned. So one of the things, I know it's not possible for a lot of you guys, but getting out here just before dark really can be beneficial for several reasons. One of them is you can come out and you can see, you know, if there's a mud line, where the bait fish are at, is there nets, is there things like that out there, and also getting your initial setup and everything kind of prepared. When you're doing that in the dark, especially if the wind's blowing, it's kind of always a little bit of a poop show. So we're getting set up here, and I'll show you a little trick that I do is I like to put the flags down. If you got a tattle thing or whatever on there, I just electrical tape. I don't want that in the way to tangle up on stuff. And then I just drill a little hole in here, and I'm using bobber lights. I get these things at Fish USA. They last really long, and they don't change the action of the board. You know, a lot of those heavy lights that go on the flags, and then the flag also tangles at night, so I don't like that deal at all. The thing you'll notice is me and Chris, we're always using trees, and that's going to allow us to get a lot of line spread because we really want to get a decent amount of line between these so that we don't have any tangles, because at night everything is more difficult. So a couple little tips I'll give you here. If you watch any of our videos before, you've seen I use the Beckman nets and the big ones. It's got a 9-foot handle on. It's got the bigger hoop, a little bit bigger mesh on this deal. And then I've got another rubber one that you've seen me use. Bigger nets and multiple nets at night are a really good thing because one gets tangled up, you don't get another fish. Generally, we're using shorter leads and things like that. You have way less time, I would say, on average than you would during the day. So have an extra of everything, have everything put away. Anything that you don't need, get it out of the way. Got the headlamp here, only use the red light. You know, we're filming, so we're gonna have lights on tonight. There's really no avoiding that, or you wouldn't be able to see me. You could just like Blair Witch Project hear me. But I use the red light when I'm out. I really don't like putting the beam of the light in the water. I don't need it to net, it just kind of wrecks my vision. And I can tell you that guys that put those in there, it does spook to fish, cuts that bite down. So avoid putting your beam of light in the water for you, or maybe somebody that's fishing too close that you're going to be nice and courteous to. How about that? Good. Yeah, see? Yeah, he knows. Here we go, Chris. We got actually kind of an early start. You know, we got the line set before it was dark, which is kind of nice for what I kind of told you there. There's a lot of advantages to that. And sure enough, here we go, inside board. Soon after we got started here, so we're gonna have Chris back up a little bit so I can get at that, and it's not gonna win any derbies.
No.
But that little light, and then Chris is gonna go to the back there. Just that tiny little light's really all you need on those boards. Since Chris is not claiming big fish, we're gonna go with the rubber bag. And you notice you're like, I mean, we obviously have a light on for the camera or you wouldn't see us, but I would tell you to not have a light and flash it in the water. I see an awful lot of videos and guys, you know, don't abide by that, and that's fine. But man, this fish looks like a perch. He's kind of,
yeah.
He's reddish, and this is one of my favorite baits we've been doing really good on. The old husky jerk, the old original, and he had all 9 of them in it. So get this thing out. Not a bad one.
No.
We're getting a little spoiled. This is a Wisconsin wall hanger, Chris.
Yep.
But man, look how kind of
go through the motions.
Reddish the fins are there. Looks like a little Europino deal. But at any rate, we'll talk about lures and things as we keep going here. But old number 12 husky jerk, luckiest walleye in Lake Erie.
Here, fishy, fishy.
Dude, do not start that. I'm just telling you right now. That is a 15-minute penalty with us catching fish, number 1. Number 2, you already have demerits left from like April or March when we did this. Do you remember?
Oh, yeah.
Do you want to talk about it?
But I figured the demerits were done because last trip was good.
No, you just didn't get additional demerits. Yeah. Do you want to talk about, breaking baits off? Dude.
Hey, who caught a fish already?
Well, I obviously have caught fish, yes, but now we have a 15-minute penalty because you're over here doing Sesame Street rhymes on these things. Chris, we're over here looking at, so you see my lights, don't buy blue lights, little trick for you. And Chris, the board is gone. It is gone. And
Yep.
we heard the audio be like, why do you leave the clickers on? Well, because that's the only way Chris might know he had a fish he had a bite on. Maybe me too, but oh boy. A little better one?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
Now the thing, the thing seriously with these is I like to try to get on them somewhat quickly at night because just like that first fish we had, they hit pretty good and then they'll just swim along with you, right? You've had that a bunch. But the other thing is when you got these husky jerks have 3 hooks in them, and once those baits, I know you know this, just open water too, like especially when you're fishing deep water. When you get those on there, and if you let them play around too much, they get one of those other treble hooks on them. And all of a sudden, the thing is like upside down, turning around, and you're fighting that thing in half sideways, and it can be quite the interesting show. But I think we're gonna have to fast forward a button with the editing here because you're gonna be there for a while.
Yeah. Can't see the reel.
A little update. I ate 2 sandwiches. Chris is still reeling. I sharpened a couple hooks, and yeah, just saw that. Chris, are you okay? We still? I think get you a lunch, or?
I think I could see the board.
Okay. So you probably can't see me, but you can hear me, and having the lights on is really a bad deal. I just can tell you I've done a lot of night fishing in the last 30-some years, and it will spook these fish, there's no doubt. Maybe you still catch those little weasels, but the better fish do not like that. But I'm thinking this fish might be foul hooked that we got Chris on here, which happens because you got a couple treble hooks in this thing. They slash at it. It is what it is. But I can't help think, but do you remember that local catch TV show we shot with Tom Vadalero where he kept swearing that we had the state record on, and he had one where the hook had ripped out and it went right into the back, which I think could be happening here. We might have a little foul hookage where he came at it, and then here we go. We're getting close though. I see a board, Chris.
I know, same here. I see a light. It's
in the right area code. There's a lot of pressure there.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
So, in all seriousness, like the thing that you got to do is Chris is taking extreme patience, which is really mandatory, and it's really, really tough to do. A big advantage besides obviously catching this fish, which is going to be a little chunkier than the last one, I'm guessing, is we get that light that was a little weak on the inside now so we can see it, right? Chris, I think we got one that digested it quickly.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Definitely a heavy fella.
Yeah.
Definitely a heavy fella. A lot of help from Chris, and here we are with a really nice walleye. That's probably definitely female. We're going to take a picture of that thing and then let her back, but the night is getting more and more promising. So we were just talking, there's a lot of boats that are a lot deeper than us, and you know, I don't like fishing everybody else's game, but I've just been doing some turns, and before they wanted it kind of just slow and steady, and I just made another slow side turn, so I turned towards the boards, and that's caught basically the first handful of fish here. And Chris has got maybe a little bit better one going, but sometimes, you know, when you know you're around fish or just feel like you are, you've got to just do little things. You know, I've been hitting the rabbit button on the Minn Kota too to speed up, and that hasn't worked nearly as much as doing a slow side turn, and they're biting on the slow side. So probably going to slow the whole speed of the boat down once we get things back in the water here and give that a little bit and see if that'll get us more bites, because Chris's side over here on the driver, it's not doing real good. So we got a few over here. All right, got it. So Chris is going to come to the back here. Like I said, I would resist the urge. We have to have a light on here or you will not be able to see a single thing with this camera, but take her easy there, balls. This one is fighting kind of weird, but you'd be surprised if you don't have a bunch of lights on, your eyes adjust and you don't need to flash those lights in the water. It will not help it out, I promise. That's where that big old handle, oh, he's got lead underwears. Holy. Pull, so we're hooked on something or? All right, man, this thing has got lead underwear, Chris.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, he's
yes.
definitely a little bigger than he felt coming in.
Oh, yes. Give me 1 second here. I'm going to get some hooks out. Having a helper is really nice. Chris has helped quite a bit this year. He does run some trips with us too, but man, a really nice walleye, a little chunky monkey. So we're going to let Chris do some untangling, and we're going to let this one go. But, you know, I guess one thing I'm talking about on these is you can use a lot of different things at night, but 99% of the time, stick baits, shallow stick baits are all you need. The fish are high enough in the water column. They tend to like that more subtle action. I know guys that use deep divers and things like that, but I would tell you stick baits most of the time is kind of what I'm pulling, especially husky jerks. Chris, I was just over here trying to enjoy some delicious crackers that the microphones love,
Oh.
and especially the people that edit this stuff.
Yeah. Well, you know how crackers, they always seem to work.
Well, yeah, Chris made a very insensitive comment. Yeah, Chris made a very insensitive comment. I look over and I said, where's my little blue light? And it was gone. So one thing we're noticing is they definitely want the slow side. Every time I turn, we get a bite, it's on the slow side. Chris, I'm gonna let you jump in there. Got it. We got another little stick bait. You know, one thing I kind of pay attention to at night is, I don't know about colors as much. I see you guys with all your crazy custom lures and all that. I'm gonna turn this little red on so I can see and tell Mr. Chris where we're at. We're about 20. You might want to start getting out there. He's pretty close. But I pay attention to the trends of more of like chrome versus painted. That's kind of the stuff I'm looking for when we're switching colors around. If I keep getting hit on the chromes, I don't know that it matters which one I'm right here. Chris, can you see? Boom, teamwork makes the dream work. So this is a painted one. So our last two fish have come on painted and not chrome. Now, I'm not gonna switch everything in the boat, but it's something to pay attention to. So. All right, man, the VMCs are getting their work done here. Whew, sound like a Rice Krispie treat. So really nice, healthy fish here. Smoked that thing. Nobody was paying attention, but once I saw the blue light, we got her. And as I always said, luckiest walleye in Lake Erie. So Chris, you know, one of the things out here is that's why I like having somebody like you along, is especially these guys with the graphs in the back of the boat. Everybody during the daytime forgets to look forward, and you know, guys turn, things come up, guys in waves or whatever. And at night, you really have to have your head on a swivel for everything. I mean, not just people, obviously, but
yeah, I mean, because like you say, there are, you know, quite a few boats out, and kind of watching, like you say, every direction where everybody's going. You know, it's bad enough during the day to have something happen, but at night it would be very dangerous.
You know, another one before you even get to where we're at is I see guys, and I had one of my clients the other day said, man, I watched your video on etiquette, and I never even thought of that because he was newer to boating a little bit. And basically the tip was you know, turn your lights off when you're backing in and it's dark. Because the other people trying to back in, I mean, it's just like this camera light in our face right now. Like you can't see anything else, and it makes it really difficult. A lot of people just, I don't know, they don't know what they don't know, I guess. To me, it's kind of a little common sense, but if you've never done it, but again, I've said it like 10 times today, I don't know how many will make the final cut, but you know, these guys that have these big spotlights and flashing them under their boats even, like you wreck my night vision by, you know, you and your boats hitting me with a light. Like, keep your lights. Think about if you're when you put a spotlight in somebody, think about that's like a gun. Like, would you be waving a gun at somebody like that? And if the answer is no, then don't hit them with a spotlight either.
Yep. And then, like you say, using you know, either dim lights or red, something that's not, like you say, so intense. Because, like you say, getting that temporary blindness does not help the situation.
No, if we would have almost no lights on in this boat if we weren't filming. I mean, a typical day with me, we don't have. I don't even have hardly any white lights with me, even though the headlamps will do it. But my first one is set for red. So we were just here. I was about ready to start telling them, Chris, about a little pattern that we have, and that is slow side turns. And guess what? I turn here on the starboard side and slow side. Here we go, another bite, and yet another different bluer, different setup. We haven't had, I don't think, the same thing go twice yet. We're kind of cycling through stuff. But one of the things that I was kind of points to bringing up, because I realize you guys maybe don't know some of these things. Some of the stuff is just like what lures best, right? Like that's questionable. You could say a lot of different things, but I think there are things that are steadfast, and one of those is I don't really rely on my 2D sonar at all at night, like zero, where, you know, during the daytime, that's my go-to. And the reason is that cone is so small in the water that we're going to be in. If you mark anything, there's a pile of them. So it just doesn't really matter. So we'll show you a little cutaway. I've got the side imaging on, and basically just seeing some of that rock stuff, and you can actually see out to the side where you're going to start to shallow up. And when I put that in conjunction with my Lake Master mapping, now all of a sudden I got a good situation. Actually, I got to watch this boat. We got a boat turning up here. This guy just did a 180. Okay, so maybe he caught one there. He saw us. How close? Close.
Right here. Oh, close. Here he is.
Just a little weasel. I could have used the other net on this one, Chris. Normally me and Chris do very good communication. Right now, marginal communication on that one. This was a little weasel. But you know what? It still helped us with the pattern, because the lures aren't the pattern. What the pattern is tonight is the turns, and they want the slow side turn. So, and that VMC is in there good. This one would be an amazing fish fry fish. This would be a terrible, terrible fall brawl. B-Team Bob would probably try to weigh this one in though. So Chris did not give me good communication. So it's like a half a demerit, because I would have grabbed the rubber Beckman. We didn't need the big one for that one, but it still helps with a pattern, honest to God. So we don't have a bait pattern, but we've got a kind of action pattern, if you will. So again, I know you guys like to hear about what color and what type of lure, and we've got kind of a diverse spread of rapples out here, but the slow side turn is the deal. Like, we just got another one while we're trying to get that other line, and we're working Chris like a dog here, getting around, and we had that board drop pretty good. We have got a guy doing a 360 spin out here. I'm not sure if he's at a jazzercise class or doing spin or something, but he's doing a 360 turn with the boat. And I don't think this is the biggest one we've caught together, but it's every little fish, you know, as far as the depth of water or the, you know, how they're biting is just as important as anything else. Chris, you were communicating what size that we got going on here.
A littler one.
Okay. Okay.
About 10 feet here.
Thank you. You know what? That's still a Wisconsin wall hanger. That is a size 14 Husky for you guys paying attention at home. We've been kind of trying to keep track, me and Chris, and that was just barely in that one, Chris.
Yeah.
That's a chrome size 14. Because last trip out, we did way better on some of the smaller stuff like the 12s and such like that, and even some of the smaller things than that. But we're gonna let this one go. Chris, I'm not gonna say you missed that one on your side, but that pulled out pretty good because we were working you on the other side.
I was busy setting the other one.
Yeah, like a dog we worked this guy. But I mean, you really do have to have your head on a swivel, especially because like that guy that's in the boat right in front of us, he's now coming back again. I don't know what he's doing. Probably knows Chris Morris is in the boat. And I don't know. But you really, just because you look up and you see a guy going one way, that doesn't mean they don't change their mind. I'm sure you guys all know somebody like that changed their mind a lot. And that's what he's doing. So you got to have your head on a swivel. You don't want to be dead right out here.
And what helped us too was having the clicker on.
Another fish inside.
Got
inside,
another
inside,
one
inside. On. Here, I got this. You go. You know what this is on too, don't
you? The experiment.
I've been telling these people, Chris. You know, we finally got B Team Bob getting some scatter tail dancers. Those things are just naughty. And I just told Chris, I was like, I haven't used these a lot at night, but let's give them a shot. So we put one more out there.
I'm gonna advise you to get the other net too.
Oh, Christopher. Now Christopher normally is much more calm. You guys that have watched maybe even the local TV show that we did a long time ago, Chris is much more zen than me. Is that fair?
Yeah, for sure.
All right, we're gonna do a little do-si-do. We're gonna have camera around, and we're gonna have Chris back. But again, gotta have your head on a swivel. You just do, because things go from 0 to hero here, and then when you get tangled up with somebody, it becomes really bad. Ooh, we got one outside. We got outside board. Oh, we're getting into him now. We're getting into him. Chris, back for me a little bit. Remember, we got a little bit shorter lead on this one.
Yep.
Okay, come back here. Chris called for big net. Chris, big net, line 3.
I mean, he's definitely pulling a little more than the other ones here.
Okay. I kind of hinted at what this is, what bait this is, but I can see his eyes out there. Oh yeah.
All right.
Just doesn't get you excited. You better take up knitting or something. I don't know. I'm gonna try to turn the boat. Everything, we gotta do 2 things at once when you're out here.
All right.
Oh,
Less
yeah.
than 10 feet here.
Yeah. This is a nice one, dude. Look at his, he's got a T-bone, man. Donkey T-boned. Wait till we get the camera on this.
Nice one.
Huh?
Nice one.
Oh yeah. Wait till you see. Get in close with the camera if we can here. Look at that bait. That's a number 9. T-boned, man. You gotta be really careful in trying to get these out because you will get hooked really quickly. smoked it. Holy dude, he's got that thing pinned.
He definitely wanted it.
I'm gonna have to check that bait out.
Yep.
For sure. So a couple little tips I'll give you to kind of night ready your boat is, on most electronic brands, I'm obviously using the Humminbirds. When you tap the power button, they have something called night mode on that, and that's going to not only darken the screen so you don't have as much light, so you can actually drive the boat, or when you're fishing like this you don't get blinded, but it's going to take like the mapping in Hummingbird's case and it's going to darken it, so it's going to be just a lot easier to see that, and also, like I said, not blinded while you're driving. The other thing I do is I'm always using, boat control is the most important thing. I turn the backlight on my remote here. So I turn that up a little bit, where normally during the day I have that off so that I can actually, save the battery. But at night we don't want to monkey around. We want to be able to see everything, and definitely not using the kicker. I've got Dakota lithium batteries, so we can run this thing darn near wide open at spoon speed with just the electric motor. But I've got a Minn Kota Quest Altera on the front, and that's really nice because I can stone deploy it right from the remote here. But having that boat control, using the autopilot features, using the cruise control at times, but most of the time it's in my hand or on the seat here because I'm constantly monkeying it. And that's how we found out and got a lot of the bites today. It wasn't a bait thing, it was a speed thing as far as going on the slow side. That's where they want it. Sean, fish on. Chris, you do realize what that is, right?
Yep.
This one isn't as big as the other one, but I told you guys, don't sleep on the tail dancers. Don't sleep on them. The other thing that it is it's also a little bit deeper than some of our stuff too. Oh no, this looks pretty good. We'll come back here. We're gonna have that fish just let me know. I don't know if you guys could hear that at home, but he was not happy with life. He was splashing and dashing. Ooh. Feisty. So I can tell you, I know you guys at home don't really want to hear this. This has not been a bait thing because we've caught them on a bunch of different Rapalas, a bunch of different sizes, and I'll let you get that out of there so we can show them. It's not the biggest fish in the world, but this one, the bait was a little deeper on this one. That's the only thing I can tell you. But slow side turn. I just told Chris I'm turning towards your side. Watch out. And you see that scatter lip on there? It just does something different. Fish like it. Let's get that put back out. And this is also the luckiest walleye in Lake Erie right now. Chris, I'm beginning to wonder who has the worst vision here, because normally you're on it like a cat. You've been a little Bob slow, determining strikes. No offense, we do have a big ass light, but he's setting a rod, and I'm like, Chris, the blue light is like Kmart. You guys, are you old enough to remember Kmart? And it's boom, going back. I'm like, hey, Chris, Kmart, line 3, Kmart, line 3.
I mean, it is a blue light. We could say our own blue light special, right?
Yeah, hells yeah.
No, I was looking down, hooking the board on, and
Chris, you can't talk your way out of this one. This feels okay.
About 10.
It's under. It's under. Come back.
Get him.
Yeah. Good communication. That one stayed under the water a little bit. And I'll tell you, if you had to have one bait, I swear that would be it. The old Husky Jerk. That's a size 12. That's been really good for us. Use the 14s too. Chrome blue is never a bad color. Little orange belly. And right now, this currently is the luckiest walleye in Lake Erie, yet again. Oh, Christopher. Check, oh, Christopher.
All right, fish on here.
You know, the organization is so important, not having things laying around, having a couple extra rods, so if something does happen, I just trash it and I grab another one. Because when they bite here, they don't bite all night long. You get them in little clusters, even though we've been pretty fortunate that we've been catching them, especially since we started putting out those scatter tail dancers.
It's off.
Oh. But you gotta make hay while the sun is shining, even though it's dark and we're night fishing. So Chris, I know bait hasn't been super critical, but you don't even know what bait that is. Do you?
That's that scatter wrap.
It's a different one though. Scatter husky.
Oh, okay.
So we don't. It's a little. It's even smaller.
Wow.
It's an even smaller bait. So it's a husky, but it's got this giant lip on it. The scatters have definitely been the best. But honestly, I feel like it's been a speed and direction thing because we've caught them on so many different things. But the scatters have been the go-to. Have you take that right over the back? Yep.
I'll let you use the bigger net.
What kind?
The bigger one.
Oh, folks, do you hear? Chris is calling for the bigger net. Oh, yeah. Right over. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, chrome. So yeah, I don't know how many different things they make this scatter, and then they make it the original minnow, which I've done good on. Ooh, look at that, flung right off. That's another really healthy, nice fish. We call these Winnebago wall hangers, folks at home. My buddies in Wisconsin, they don't like that, but they know it's partially true. So we're gonna let this nice chunky monkey go, and we'll show you the bait here, since I know these guys are bait freaks. But, you know, the thing that has been, until tonight, we caught a few fish there on the size 14 husky jerk. This one is like a size 10, aka a lot smaller. I mean, most people would probably think that's too small for night fishing in the past. It's got that big lip. This hasn't been out 5 minutes, but we've also caught them on the tail dancer better, but we just put this one out. So switching around, use something different.
Fish on. Was that
Whoa.
slow?
Lights, camera action. So basically I did a hard turn to kind of start to go kind of with the current here and spun around. And our inside board with, guess what, Chris? Do you want to tell them what kind of bait that is?
The scatter wrap.
Scatter wrap on the short one close to the boat. The bait almost wasn't moving. We were turning that hard in there. Chris, I'm gonna have you go towards the bow mount a little bit.
I don't think we've straightened up from our turn yet. It was so aggressive.
No, they really wanted, these fish are hitting on the paws. And the thing to remember on this is these husky jerks are one of the few baits that will perfectly suspend in the water. They don't move at all. Whoa. You got the counter on that one, so you know. I'm gonna have you sneak back in there. Yeah, you're close. Oh yeah, that's a chunker. Oh, that's a chunker. Look at that little fatty arbuckles there. Oh yeah.
It's funny because it's on that blue one again, isn't it?
Yeah, the old scatter. Oh. You know, the thing is too, these things have been really hooked well on this one. That one of the first fish had that thing T-boned, if you remember. Holy moly. Oh, get this girl. I'm gonna put him in the box to make sure he's okay to go, or I should say she. I gotta do a little driving here. Ooh.
I don't think, no, nothing.
You sure?
Yeah, it's really light.
Fuck no. God.
I don't think it's much.
Jeez. I'm using that one against you later on, just so you know. I just want to tell you, folks at home, I just want to tell you how spoiled Chris Morris, Captain Chris Morris is. He goes, I don't think it's much. I don't think it's much. I don't think he's on there, he said. This is called Lake Erie spoiled.
The client's real.
That is definitely. I mean, you just stand there, Bob. Don't worry about it. Could you grab something since you didn't even know? He didn't even know. I hold you in such high regard. I don't even know what to do right now. I feel like that's so many demerits issued. I don't even know. We're gonna call this the Chris fish. Splashing on the surface. Thinks he's tangled in the other line, folks. I don't know. This is why the trust tree was given demerits, but pretty amazing on Lake Erie.
An husky jerk.
Huskies, number 12. Like, I don't know how many. Is that demerits? I feel like that's beyond demerits. I honestly feel like that's like, I don't even know. That's like some type of suspension or something. I asked you before when we had the 50-pound plus stringer, which people question that, by the way, just so you know. You were there. What was that? And you've done this a long time.
Yeah.
Was that some donkey slaying?
They were all nice ones.
I'm gonna need some crackers here to make sure that all the people editing this love it. But I asked you on that show when we had a little snafu. I asked you to put your own on what you thought your punishment should be. What do you feel your punishment should be? Even after I told you it was a fish. And then I see it splashing. I'm like, Chris, I think that, I don't know, but maybe it's a seagull or maybe it's a walleye or, it was a husky jerk. They catch walleyes.
Hey, it's getting late.
Are you pulling the old man cart? No, seriously. I mean, what do you feel your punishment should be? Because Bob would he would throw out some stuff. So I feel like you should just let us know.
I'll let you reel the next one in.
Well, then, God knows, the boat would probably be in 2 foot of water. We hang everything up, tear the prop up. I mean, I'm trying to keep this thing between the lines, okay?
Coming.
So we had a little equipment malfunction a little bit where our clip wouldn't come off. That's why I really hate this system of doing it, and I almost never do it at night. But so we're gonna free float this one back here, and actually took our other one and put it on the front. That's those rod holders in the front of my boat. I don't use a lot, but situations like this, you really need it. And you're night fishing, having the trees to separate the rods and then having extra rod holders to be able to maneuver around really makes a big difference, because if I didn't have Chris today, we'd really be in trouble. It's got a couple Burt's tubes in the back, and I can let that be an extra pair of hands so we can get this fish here. What do we think?
I think the small net.
Oh, he's calling a small net. Now, he didn't, should we, I don't know if it's gonna make it or not. Come back here. One time you told me we didn't need the net. Stop now. Pull some line. Pull some line. We are really fortunate to have such a fishery here that we're just like, maybe we don't even need the net. Maybe we'll just throw it away. But you see what that was on again. See, these people who watch these videos are bait hounds. Number 12 husky jerk. Chromodocious.
Okay, got one here.
Crisp. Did you see that one going?
No, because I'll set the other one.
Oh, okay. Okay, I was just wondering. You sound like Bob now.
Hey,
You know what bait that is, I think, too.
is it the husky scatter app or scatter?
It's a chrome blue husky. That's all I can
Oh,
confirm.
okay.
Back up for me, boss. All right. Come back here. Put that right over the top, so I don't have to scoop him funky. Are we hearing anything? Can you help me out?
There's a fish. I can feel it.
Thanks, Captain Obvious. Slow, stop.
And he came in really fast.
Chris, this is not our biggest fish of the night. It's certainly not our first, but it's going to be our last. We are going home. I imagine your wife has texted us 400 times. I left my phone in the truck on purpose, somewhat. This is certainly not my first fish on a husky jerk fishing for walleyes. Look at that thing.
Oh, wow.
He's got warts on him like, well, I'll let you guys, you got to fish with me to hear the rest of that story. But thanks for tuning in. A little night fishing. It's been a long time since we've done one of those. We've done a bunch of them on our channel that were old TV shows and stuff that we ran and some patching stuff, but not recently. And it's been a really weird year, right? Like
Yep.
it's still pretty mild for basically Thanksgiving time. But getting out at night is a good time, especially you guys working during the week.
Yep,
Husky
for
jerks.
sure.
What would you buy if you were going out?
Husky jerks for sure.
And
try some of them scatters.
that's what we're going to do. We're going to scatter and go eat something and go home. Make sure you subscribe, like. We're on TikTok now too, right? We've got Instagram, Facebook, all that good stuff, and a podcast. You know about our podcast. Until the next episode.